Hi everyone, thank you for joining me this morning. We'll be talking a little bit about the FS1 curriculum, where the children are at now and where they will be moving forward towards the end of the year and before they transition into FS2. So today I'll be joined by Miss Hannah. She'll be there as well to help answer any of your questions. Hi Miss Hannah. And if you have any questions at all throughout, please write them in the comment section to the left. And we'll try to answer them at the end. So yeah, hopefully this will answer some of your questions already. Okay, so our mission statement at the school is Nurture, Challenge, Excel, with nurture being the first and most important part. So in FS1, play is a huge thing. It's very important to us and it's how children learn best. So play is our brain's favourite way of learning. Whether you're a child or an adult or you're in your 70s, play is the brain's favourite way of learning. And I love this quote by Albert Einstein: play is the highest form of research. So in FS1, we learn through play. Children's brains are lit up and they learn best when children are engaged in their own learning. So we are following a child-led approach to the curriculum, following the children's interests, and the teacher is there to support the children and to scaffold them and move them on in their learning and provide them with all the things that they need to be successful. We use a lot of loose parts play, very open-ended, so that they can explore and discover, and there is no such thing as failing. Failing just means that the children are learning further. So here you can see cardboard boxes. We love a cardboard box. Anything that you think you might need to throw away, see if we need it in FS1 first. We've got the children exploring outside with water and guttering, cheese graters with the Play-Doh, and just allowing them to explore and use their imagination. So we firmly believe that play in FS1 should look like play and feel like play. It's when children are most engaged, they learn the best, and they don't even know that they are learning, and that's the beauty of it. So we can see here that children are using all the construction materials to build things. This was her home, so this involved a lot of role play. Using the loose parts, we popped Motor City and got some of their old tyres and wheels and steering wheels, and the children are using this in their play. Using all the surfaces, so we've got this as a track, and this one here with the balloons. A child brought their balloon into school and we just went with it on that day. They were drawing on the balloons, they were throwing the balloons to one another, so they've got their physical development, and went to the library and got a book about balloons, so it kind of went off on its own little journey.
Just saying also, Kelly, here, and you will completely agree that using real life objects as much as possible in their play, because they just need to be taught how to use tools properly, whether it's scissors or using proper knives and forks in school. We teach them how to use these properly, and it really, really helps them to develop their skills like further on and independence, isn't it, Kel?
Yeah, so real life experiences, getting them involved so they have these skills and these life skills to take forward with them. Absolutely. So Oracy is a big focus for the whole school. So we've got the slant and shape here. This is what the children are working towards. We instill this and we get those firm foundations in FS1 and FS2. So by the end of FS1, we would like the children to be able to speak confidently and clearly everything that's going on in their head, because there's so many wonderful, amazing things going on in our children's brains. So being able to communicate those clearly. So we provide many opportunities to promote Oracy in school and in FS1. So lots of speaking and listening opportunities, really, really listening to the children when they are talking to you, really giving them the opportunity to explain what's in their head. Lots of time. So if we ask a question, giving the child some thinking time and time for them to respond is really, really important. Time for listening as well. encouraging them to listen to their friends when their friends are talking to them and responding in an appropriate way. Valuing talk and talking to others. So one perfect opportunity is during snack time and lunchtime. You know, it's a very social time. It's where children learn a lot of their social skills at a young age. So, you know, this is also important at home. So, you know, when you're sat around the dinner table as a family talking about your day, that's a perfect opportunity to value talk and listen to one another. We also use strategies such as talk for writing, story scribing, and role play, and I'll discuss those a little bit further in a moment. And then at VHPS, we've got absolutes. So each year group has their own absolutes, things that are absolutely important and will be in every aspect of the curriculum every day. So in order to build on Oracy and promote Oracy, we have questions of the day. So it's really getting children to think about things. It could be something like, what colour are your eyes? Or it could be, what would your superpower be if you were a superhero? So lots of really random questions, really to get them thinking and to explain their thinking. We do nursery rhyme of the week. So we might also add in a bit of Makaton and sign language to really reinforce that nursery rhyme that they're learning. It's so key. And again, towards the end, I'll explain a little bit more about that. And sharing work and reflecting on their learning. It's all about consolidation. Are they having opportunities to talk about their learning and the things that they've learned throughout the day, or something that they may have learned last week? Sometimes what we find is something that they were interested in 3 weeks ago, 2 months ago, might come back around. So it's still ensuring that they have those opportunities to explore and consolidate and have that repetitive play. A good way of doing this as well, we all know about Seesaw. We use this in class as well to display children's learning and give them the opportunity to talk about their learning as well. And we have display walls in the classrooms that the children can display their work on. They can have a look at it, reflect on it, and talk to their friends about their work as well. So I said a little bit there about the talk for writing and story scribing. So this will explain it a little bit more. This is one child's journey through story scribing and role play. Lorelei told me the story, her own story, and it's really important. You know, the stories might be really long and really complex with all that story language, but they also might be really short. You know, there was a spider on a web, and it's ensuring that children are confident to tell you their stories and that they are successful with telling you their stories as well. So we encourage them to be authors and illustrators. So we do the story scribing and they have a go at writing a picture, and you know, they are the illustrator. As well as that, the children can share this with the rest of the class and they can retell their story and encourage their friends to act out the story with them. It's very fun and it's really yeah, an important part of our day. Miss Hannah, do you have anything else to add about story scribing?
Yeah, I mean, this can go all the way up through the school, especially as they're learning to be confident writers, because as we know, children, when they're learning their phonics or beginning to learn to write, it'll be limited. So therefore the language becomes quite limited, like it is big or something. So what you really want to kind of focus on is that language, so that you don't want to stop them from telling a story and to have that love for telling stories, but also it's really important that you actually see you write at greater length, but then they can start adding those words in and it builds up their confidence, so they become really confident writers. So yeah, this will carry on as well through the rest of this year. I know that FS1, it's one of their key focuses at the moment, and as they move into FS2, you will see more of this development, which is great to see.
Yeah, thank you, Hannah. You reminded me there. So as the children progress on and they're developing their phonological awareness, they can make attempts to write some of the words as well, particularly the CBC words we might start with, you know, as the children are ready for it. So, thanks, Ben. Okay, moving on to expectations in reading. So we really want, again, it's the foundation stage, you want to build those firm foundations for the children. So we really have a huge focus on the phase 1 aspect of phonics, and that is all about environmental sounds, exploring musical instruments, singing, and, you know, exploring rhythm and rhyme. you know, at the moment, as we move towards the end of the year, we have a big focus on showing awareness of rhyme and alliteration, playing with silly names, rhyming, you know, finding rhyming names for their words, and alliteration. It's the beginning of alliteration. So, you know, we've got all the tongue twisters that we might think of when we think of alliteration. But to start with, the children need to be able to identify the initial phonemes in words and find words that have the same initial phoneme. So we focus on that a lot at the moment. Also, segmenting and blending. So can they hear the sounds in words? Can they say the sounds that they can hear in the words? And this is really important stage, that they can do all of this orally by hearing it and speaking it before we move on to the phase 2 aspect. So when children are ready and we know that they're confident, they've got those firm foundations, we will support them to move them on to the next stage of their phonics journey. So another way and expectations in reading, you know, we really want the children to be confident readers. We want them to enjoy reading and have a love of books. So, you know, we have a lot of different print in the environment, a lot of different books, fiction, non-fiction. We use Talk for Writing. So Talk for Writing is stories where we add actions to help the children to remember those stories, and just lots of opportunities within the environment. Having a look as well at print in the environment and signs in the environment. So I've got a picture here, walking along. That's a kite. I have a kite at home. So it's about recognizing things and seeing it and being able to talk about what they can see. So it might be a spinny sign or a McDonald's sign that they can see. So that's all really key pre-reading skills that the children need to have. Okay, so moving on, expectations in writing. So, you know, at this stage, children are all at different stages of development. They could have been born in the same month, the same year, but, you know, they may be at different stages of development because we all move and develop differently at different times. So it's important to remember this and just to support your child with where they are at in their journey. So having a look here, I think it's a really lovely, clear kind of diagram to show you how writing progresses. So your child may be at the stage where they are using 2 hands and drawing like this, and it might look like they're scribbling, but really they are exploring those pre-writing skills, developing the actions and the coordination that they need to be successful writers in the future. So you can see here, it might start off with the children scribbling and drawing pictures. That might be where they're at now. As we move through term 2 and into term 3, we do see some of the children, their writing developing into letters and what we would say, you know, is writing. So it might be random squiggling that, you know, they think that looks like letters. You can ask them, what are you writing? What does that mean? And they give them the opportunity again to, you listen to them and they tell you about their writing. Squiggle writing, you can then start seeing it moving on into symbols, and then this will then move on into just random letter writing, and then it starts to form and take shape. So wherever the children are at in their stage, we will support them. So, I mean, it says here FS1 and FS2. If the children are ready, we will support them with these, with the FS2 stage of their journey. So how you can support at home as well, and these are also things that we do in school, really thinking about the pencil grip. So this shows you the different stages of pencil grip. So you might find that children are holding it like this, and this is all okay. They need to go through these stages of development. So then they might move on to doing the digital pronate grip, which is the second one down. They might then be holding their pencil like this. So, you know, as you can see, they're using their whole hand, and then it moves into the finer tripod grip. So it's really important to develop those finger muscles and the fine motor skills. So ways that you can do this at home, like we do in school, if you're at the beach, you can do mark making in the sand, using a bucket and a paintbrush and doing that on the floor. Things like helping with cooking at home, you know, developing those muscles for children to be successful writers. If you want to find some activities, some ideas at home, Pinterest is brilliant. If you just type in fine motor activities for home, then it will come up with a whole heap of activities for you to use at home with things that you have at home as well. So this is just an example of, you know, how we support the children in school, showing that they are all at different stages. So this particular girl, she brought in her older brother was doing a spellings test, so she asked her mum to write some words for her to do her spellings, and she wanted to do them in school. So we went with that child-led aspect of learning, and all the other children wanted to join in as well. So she is able to segment and blend and form the letters. So you can see here the different stages. Over to this side where the children are forming their letters and writing the words and making phonetic attempts to write the words. Some children have drawn pictures, so drawn a picture of a cow or a cat. And then you can also see down here as well that it's those symbols that we were just talking about. So you can see that the children are all at different stages in their journey. Here are some more examples as well. So, you know, moving towards the end of the year, you might see that children are beginning to draw pictures. One thing that we love to do here is the This Is Me pictures. It shows such a it shows their development amazing. You know, we'll talk to them about their pictures. Can they talk to us? The Oracy aspect, and it shows, you know, their fine motor control and their body awareness as well. So you might find at the beginning of the year they're just drawing a circle with eyes and arms coming out their ears and legs coming out their chin, and this will move and develop as they become more body aware, as their fine motor develops, and they may be able to talk more confidently about what they have drawn. Okay, so that's kind of the communication and language and literacy aspect, and now we'll move on to talk about maths and expectations in maths. It's really important. Again, I keep saying about the firm foundations, but this really is all, this is where they will gain a lot of their knowledge and the skills to be able to take them into Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2. So we focus a lot on number songs and rhymes. This is really important. Learning anything through song is really, really powerful. There's a huge focus on subitizing and understanding numbers. So can children look at a dice, for example, and notice the pattern and know straight away that that is the number 5, that is the number 3? So it's understanding the number rather than rushing on to recognizing numbers. That is an important skill, but prior to that, can children understand number? Do they know what 1 is? What does 1 look like? Can they find 1 object? Can they find 2 objects? Do they know how many there are altogether? So it's using that language and encouraging them to explore and use that language in the environment as well. We have a lot of numbers around, numerals around for children to look at and to, you know, use and talk with their friends, use them in activities. So they are being exposed to this all the time. Finding their own problems as well in role play. How many have you got? How much does this cost? So again, using that language and in their role play and in their play. Language, talking and using new vocabulary, finding their own ways to represent number. Again, so it is linked into writing skills and pre-writing skills. Are they using symbols? You can kind of see how their writing takes shape using symbols, and then that would move into them having a go and having good attempts at writing the numbers. And you can see that clearly down here on the bottom. And noticing shapes and patterns around them, you know, in the car, driving to the shop or driving to the beach. What can they see? Are they saying, oh, the Burj Khalifa is really tall, but that building is smaller? So exploring and encouraging the language and the vocabulary. Miss Hannah, do you have anything to add to maths?
I was just saying that, like, and I think this will come on to the last slide when you start thinking about how you as parents can help at home. And I think like simple memory games is like with the mathematics and like simple patterning, just getting different kinds of shapes of pasta and see what shapes they can make, or and if they can do a 2-step, you know, different ways of like extending their patterns. And again, I get it's just a lot of talk. And I think that when it comes back to the Oracy, talking to children, this is where you see the most extended for them to develop themselves, which again, Oracy, maths, Oracy, everything, it all interlinks. But I know that there'll be a slide coming up, a talk about home and how you can help. So yeah.
Thank you, Miss Hannah. So I've got some pictures here as well, just to show how we support within the environment. The environment is really, really important in FS1, that we have got all those provision and extended provision for the children. So we can see here a child with a magnifier, and she's saying it looks bigger, and so I took a picture to show her that her eyes looked bigger as well. Exploring with shapes, and that might start with building, using those building blocks and exploring those shapes. This looks like a triangle, this is really long, this bit has a circle. So again, using that language. We can see over here, there's a little boy, he's got two semicircles together, and he noticed that the two together made a circle, and it went round and round and round. We use Numicon. So if we look down here, there's two blue shapes, we call those Numicon. It's again supporting subitizing, so looking at the shape and at the pattern, and being able to say that number is 10, that number is 9. Here in the middle at the bottom, we've got a little boy. He's placing his vote at the voting station. Do they want the nursery rhyme of the week to be Wheels on the Bus or Twinkle Twinkle Little Star? So, you know, giving children choice and independence. And then at the end, when they've placed their votes, we can count them, which one is more, which one is the winner. So finding lots and lots of different opportunities to support the mathematical development. Okay, so Miss Hannah just spoke a little bit about this one. What can you do to support at home? So singing songs and nursery rhymes, so important. And I think, you know, I think it's getting a bit lost. I think it's time to bring it back and place that importance on singing nursery rhymes as well. I really like this quote here. If a child knows 8 nursery rhymes by heart by the time they are 4 years old, they are usually among the best readers and spellers in the class by the time they are 8. So it just shows how powerful that can be. And it's fun to sing in nursery rhymes. Talking and listening, as we spoke about before, dinner time being a perfect opportunity, traveling in the car, talking about what you can see, lots and lots of talking. You know, they understand then about eye contact, responding at appropriate times, really important. Again, sharing seesaw photos. Okay, we may not post a photo of your child every single day, but we do it regularly, and you can use those opportunities, because I know children go home and you ask them, how was your day, what did you do, and they say nothing, but we know that's not true. We know that they have been very busy throughout the day playing with their friends, so you can use these pictures so it can give them a little bit of a reminder, again consolidating on their learning and giving them an opportunity to talk to you and tell them what they've been doing. This will also move on to sharing the stories and reading daily with your children. So sharing stories, telling stories, making up stories, being really silly with them, and acting out these stories at home as well. So there's another quote here. If you read just one book a day to your child, they will have been read 1,825 books by their 5th birthday. So every day counts and every book counts. So you can imagine how many words they will have learned as well, and how their vocabulary will have expanded. Physical activity, playing at the park, helping at home with the baking. You know, it's really important that they have that physical aspect to help with their coordination, crossing at the midline. That helps with the brain development and, you know, the hand-eye coordination as well. Independence and choice being a really, really important aspect. So are you giving your children choice throughout the day? Are you encouraging them to be independent? This will really help them to be independent learners as they move on throughout Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2. Ms. Hannah spoke about memory games as well, so really, really important there. Things like Kim's game, having items, taking one away, which one is missing, And the most important one is that you are playing with your children and having fun, because that is when children learn best. It's when we learn best as adults as well. So that is the most important. Play and have fun. Few housekeeping reminders. Please check the VHPS parent app daily. There are constant updates on there. Really important that you have that downloaded. Please label items. It's really easy for things to go into that black hole if they don't have a name on them and it's labeled. So please label everything that you possibly can so that we can return it to the right person. Healthy lunch boxes, lots of fruit, and yeah, really healthy options. Trying to avoid biscuits and cakes where possible, please, and crisps. Pick up and drop off timing. So 7:40 till 8 o'clock is when the gates will be open for drop off, and pick up time is 1 till 1:20. So please try to keep to those times as much as possible. And if for any reason you are running late for pickup, please just pick up the phone and give us a call to let us know. Plenty of water for the day, just maybe an extra little water bottle in their bag. And library day is on a Monday. So do we have any questions? If you haven't already, please just post some questions to the left of the screen. And if you can't think of any questions now, sometimes you might think about these questions a little bit later on in the day. You can just email me or Miss Hannah or your child's class teacher, and we can try to answer them at another time.
Yeah, all of this is so relevant to where you are at. And as a parent, all you want is the best. You want the best for your child. You want the best to be able to support them at home. Independence, you know, it might take them an extra 10 minutes in the morning to put those pair of socks and shoes on, but eventually that will benefit you in the long term, because sometimes when you're in a rush, it's just really much quicker to do. So it's kind of like thinking about that. And I know reading and writing and helping in maths is always something that you want to make sure that they're on track with. But like I said, you know, those memory games, you read into them and then retelling stories will be so important. And don't you worry, I would be sitting in the car going, I can see it, and if they can't get it because they might be not there, you might have to say it 3 or 4 times, like son, because they need it modeled first. And once they start doing it and they can start, you can hear that, that's when obviously the teacher will therefore let you know when they're ready to move forward with some visuals, which already will be happening in school. Just seen about the KHDA new regulations. This is coming up a lot because it's obviously been posted recently in the past couple of days to confirm. So your child will have to be 3 to join FS1 the 31st of August, I think it is. It could be a few days before or after, but it's 3 before they start school. I know that might have changed. Well, it has changed because it used to go up to December. So that won't be happening anymore. If your child's already in school and they're slightly out of that age kind of bracket, your teacher will have those professional conversations about what's best for your child moving forward.
Thank you, Miss Hannah.
Oh, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for attending. If you know anyone that was not able to make the webinar today, please let them know that this will be available afterwards as well. So thank you so much. And if you do have any other questions, please drop us a message and ask us anytime. Thank you, Ben, for the technicalities as well.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye.